All right, AOAO.
We're live.
Yeah, we're back. Guess who's back?
Back again. Shady's back.
No, not Shady's back.
Is it? Isn't that?
YER. No, it doesn't rhyme. It doesn't have a good ring to it. That's why we're not rappers.
No, definitely not.
AOAO, welcome back. What's up, everyone?
Welcome to your Everyday Rich podcast, and we're your hosts.
Yeah, I'm Jason.
And I'm Jen.
And thanks for tuning in to Your Everyday Rich. Your Everyday Rich living room conversations about important things that we're going through in life as Asian millennials, with money, finances, raising a family, being married, having kids, random stuff.
Everything and anything in between.
Yeah, to help live your everyday rich, right? And our 10-year anniversary was this past month, and yay, we're still here.
Yay.
Some people will be like, wow, congratulations. Other would be like, wow, yeah, sorry that you have to go through even more.
Shake my head.
It's like my condolences. Like we don't have a lot of marriages to go through, like weddings to go through anymore, because we're kind of past that phase now. I suspect that maybe a few more weddings, but I'm happy to share this. But I had a running joke where all the weddings we went to, Jen was. Here's the thing about Hallmark. When you go buy cards, they're always so thoughtful and boring and like black and white. It's like,
pretty.
Oh, congratulations on being married, and we're so happy for you. You're whatever, all that stuff. Can't wait to have many more years of happiness and all that stuff. When we got married, how many of those cards did you get?
A lot.
They're like 90%, 95%, all the same. Like, no offense. This is no offense to anyone who gave one of those cards. Appreciate it, okay? But it's like the same shit over and over again. You're like, oh God, okay, it's the same message. And what I started doing was, just this is my like 5-year-old self. I got like, they were either condolence cards, or they're like my cousin gave me this cool idea. Remember the bar mitzvah card?
Bar mitzvah card,
yeah. It's like, it's always, I look at it, it's always, you look at half and half, right? And it's like, yeah, we, my condolences to you losing your single life.
Yeah.
Right? And when you wake up in the morning, you realize you are married now. But anyways, it's kind of random. Thought I'd share that with you. Yeah, so, but today's living room conversation on our couch right now is kind of really based, we've been married 10 years, and we were thinking about this. It was like, holy crap, we've really been married for 10 years.
It's crazy.
It doesn't feel that long, like realistically, like,
yeah,
it doesn't feel like 10 years. I feel like I've been working just as long as I've been married.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, to think about it, Josh is like 7 turning 8, so it's like he's been in our lives as much as we've been married. Almost.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So then we're thinking about like,
what have we learned?
Yeah,
over the past 10 years?
What have we learned in 10 years
of marriage?
So we were like, hey, why don't we do like a David Letterman thing? Top 5, not top 10, because we couldn't come up with 10.
Maybe by 20 years we'll come up with 10.
Yeah.
Another 5, sorry.
Because a lot of them were like the same.
Yeah.
Right. And so we're just like, okay, what are the top 5 things, top 5 lessons from 10 years of marriage? Right. And, if you're not married, that's fine. But maybe you can be like, hey, what are the things that we've learned from dating someone? Right. Because you date someone, like the whole courtship thing, and then you have this butterfly puppy love phase, and you get into marriage, which is a different puppy love.
Yeah.
It just changes, right? It's just like older dogs love.
What?
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So, um, all right, 5. Okay. So
Come up with 5.
do we start at 5? Okay, 5. We're gonna go in descending order. Okay.
Yeah.
So 5.
It's number 5.
Number 5. Spending time apart.
Yeah.
Like really learning to spend time apart and like intentionally spending time apart.
Yeah. As much as you are married, I'm assuming you live together, right? When
Mm-hmm.
you're married, you need to be able to find the time to also be apart, because at the end of the day, you are still your own person. You're not defined by your marriage, right? So whatever it is, whether you go out and do whatever your hobby is, go spend time with your friends that are not like our friends, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like kind of like your own friends.
Yeah, your own crew, your homies,
Yeah, right? I think it's
your
important.
your homettes.
Yeah,
Is that a thing? Homettes.
right? Like you still got to have time to be who you are
Yeah,
outside of your marriage.
yeah. I think that's really important. Like earlier on, because like this whole like remember I said puppy love. Like you're always spending time together, right? You're spending so much time together that you realize at some point it's like, man, maybe we should spend a little bit. Like you, how do I describe this? You grow up. Remember this joke about like you grow up like 20 plus years sleeping in your own bed.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden, then you get married. You're like,
To share it.
I'm gonna say married, quote unquote. Okay, quotations. And you got to share a bed. And all of a sudden, it's like, what is this?
Yeah.
This is so awkward. It's
Yeah.
very unnatural, right? But that's the whole thing is that before all this, you still had a life outside of being
Mm-hmm.
married.
Mm-hmm.
And just because you get married doesn't mean that you should give up all that stuff.
Or do everything
Yeah,
together.
exactly. Like I don't want to go we don't have to go grocery shopping together. Like we
No.
don't have to go to the gym together all the time
You won't even play golf with me.
because I want to stay married.
Yeah. I always ask you want to teach me golf? He's like, no.
Hell no. Like
That's his own thing.
like
It's a thing he does apart.
listen, there's a lot of
When
couples
it
that
comes
golf.
to spending time apart, that's one thing Jason does that I do not do, is that golf.
It's 5.5 hours of like, me time. So it's like, yeah, it's like you just gotta spend time apart because at the end of the day, like you come back as a unit, right? And
Mhm.
sometimes that recharges and refreshes you because it's like you get to think on your own, or you get to talk to your friends about like I don't know stuff, right?
Your significant other.
Yeah, you're probably talking shit about me,
Yeah.
right? And vice versa, right?
Exactly.
All the husbands are talking and all the wives are talking.
All
But
right.
that's number 5. Number 4. I like this one. Like
Mhm.
the roles and responsibilities evolve. And what I mean by that is when you meet someone, you really kind of don't know exactly like how to define a role. And I don't mean this in this archaic sense where it's like, a woman cooks and cleans, and a man goes and makes money and is the provider and all that
Mhm.
bullshit, right? That
Mhm.
that Old Testament crap.
Yeah.
It's about knowing when to let your partner shine and when you step back.
Mhm.
So, the first example I like to give is this whole president and first lady relationship,
Mhm.
right? At some point, the first lady made a commitment, but also a conscious decision to say, you know what, my husband, the president, is going to be in the spotlight. I'm there to support him,
Mhm.
right? And this is a very simplified version of that.
Yeah.
But that's essentially what it is, right?
Mhm.
You're taking a step back to say, hey, you know what? This is a time in my partner's life where, their career is really taking off, or whatever they're doing.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's really taking off, and it's got to have a lot of focus.
Mhm.
And that's where, what do I do to support that?
Yeah.
Right. And that might change over, I don't know, many more years.
Mhm.
So that's kind of the whole evolution thing of roles and responsibilities. This other example is that whole the cook and sous chef.
Yeah. Well, head cook or
Yeah.
head chef. I
Yeah.
guess head chef
Head
and sous
chef.
chef.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Like you like we have a good comparison for this.
Yeah.
Right. Like
You mean with cooking?
Yeah,
Like actual cooking?
actual cooking.
Yeah. For the most part, like I would say I would cook most of the meals. But however, there are a few meals where I feel like it's your thing. Like
Hmm.
you have a few meals that you're really good at. The kids love it. I love it. And I'm like, you do it. I will be your sous chef. Or I'll just sit on the couch and just do the dishes after. Not
Yeah,
a problem.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's the same. It's the same, right? Because it's like you know how to make some meals that I'm just like, I don't want to learn that. You know what? You just make it really good. I don't want to learn how to make that,
Exactly.
right? And this is where I think, in modern day society, it's not about one person just doing all that,
Yeah.
right? Don't get me wrong. If you're away for 2 weeks, yeah, I'm gonna pick up the slack and go make meals. I might make the same 4 meals.
But you'll make the meals you're good at.
Yeah, exactly, right? Or
So would I. I would do the same thing.
yeah, right. But anyways, it's like, yeah, you just do what you're good at, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that you don't pick up any slack.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the last one is like this example. Sorry, this kind of really expanding roles and responsibilities. I think it helps people in relationships really. You get to like understand each other better this way, because a lot of times you fight over the silliest things about like, well, why are you sitting there watching 5 hours of football,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you're cleaning or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just a random example, but
Yeah.
you hear it all the time about just random shit like that.
Yeah.
It's this whole hammer and screwdriver thing. So like, think of like we talked about this when we got married, right? It was a joke about like, well, you'll handle all the inside chores and I handle all the outside chores.
Yep.
Because she didn't want to get her hands dirty, like
Nope.
literally dirty.
In dirt.
Yeah, no,
Soil.
no mud touches these fingers, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, it's fine, right? Cut the grass, like the hammer, right, cuts the grass or whatever. In this sense, a screwdriver can do it. It just won't be pretty.
Yeah, it's not. If I cut the grass, I can cut the grass, except, don't complain if there's like a patch that's like,
Yeah, why is these lines zigzaggy?
or you don't get those like, the lawn lines that you always do with the diagonal.
I could just see.
Forget that.
I can see Judd just like going all over the place.
It's like, okay, done.
Yeah.
Everything's cut. What trimmer?
Oh, trip.
What's a trimmer?
Why the edge is so long?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Really what I would do.
Anyway, that's the hammer and screwdriver analogy. Okay, so lesson number 3 is this whole thing,
Date night.
quote unquote date nights.
So contrary to number 5 that we had talked about, spending time apart, like it's obviously spending time together, but it's not just spending time together, but spending time together where it's like just you two. And it becomes a lot more difficult when you have kids because, well, kids just ruin everything. But
Wow. Tell me how you really feel, Jennifer. Yeah. Good thing the kids are asleep.
But you know what I mean. It becomes a lot harder, right? I mean, to find the time to go out on date night and like,
and I'm gonna
have a conversation without being interrupted every 2 seconds.
But it's important to date, like the whole thing they say, like it's important to date your wife or to date your husband, not in that romantic sense all the time, because I think that's a given.
Why not?
I'm saying that's a given. Okay. I'm saying the whole date night doesn't have to be dinner, wine, and roses. And you're going to say, why not? What I'm saying is date night really, just like the roles and responsibility evolves, your date nights evolve. Mm-hmm. Still have them. They just evolve. They evolve to a point where, okay, can we have higher level conversations?
Yeah.
Without our kids.
Yeah. Talking about our future, talking about what we want to do,
your goals.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what are we going to, like, how are we going to dominate this world? Right? For sure. How are we going to mama mentality this together?
Yeah. And
a lot of the times I find that, like, that's missing, right? Mm-hmm. And because we're so busy, like, oh, let's go have a nice romantic dinner. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still want that, but it's like I also want that intellectual stimulus. It's like, hey, what are we going to do about the next 9 months or whatever it is, right? Mm-hmm. So, that's what I mean. Like date nights aren't just eating.
Well, eating's a big part of it because we do love food.
You feed your stomach and your brain. How's that?
Yes, agreed.
Okay.
Agreed.
All right. Number 2. You want to be right or be married? And this is the whole pick your battles thing. And, I personally learned this really early where they're just random shit, right? Where when you move in with someone,
oh man, you learn a lot about a person.
You learn a lot. Like, hey, okay, here's this. Here's the thing. If people are dating right now, they're not married, or let's say you're just newly married or whatever, and a good way to like get a little bit of this, like a precursor, is go on vacation. But not just any vacation. Like it's like you have to go on a vacation where you see that person sleep for many, many days and unpack and see how they are. Right. And you get to really see someone how either how messy they are or how clean they are or how
what their habits are,
OCD they are or whatever.
Yeah, habits.
Yeah, habits. Your habits.
Yeah.
Because now it's just like, oh wow, she does this, and vice versa. You're probably like, oh geez, he does that.
Can I just say one thing that I learned about you that was so annoying when I first met you together?
Okay.
Is when you change. Remember, I don't remember. This is like I think you've actually changed this now. Talk about evolve.
Yeah.
But when you used to change, you used to take off your clothes, and it was like you literally stepped out of your clothes. Like if you were to step out of your jeans, you'd like to step, like you literally the jeans would fall to your ankles, and you would step out, and then walk away. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, are you gonna put those jeans in the laundry basket, or are they gonna go on the shelf, or where are they gonna go?
Yeah, you know exactly where I took off my clothes. It's almost like I was like a lobster or a crab. I was molting my clothes off.
Yeah, it's like peeling
as I was just coming into the closet.
Yeah,
that's a bad habit.
But yeah, like you said, pick your battles.
Yeah, pick your battles.
I would just pick up the clothes and just put in the laundry basket.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of something what you did.
I'm sure there's a lot of things that I did.
Yeah, it's just funny stuff. It's a lot of stuff involving in the washroom.
But yeah, pick your battles, right? I mean, there's gonna be things that you don't like, you don't like, whatever, right? At the end of the day, what does it do? What does it accomplish by picking the fight?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing.
Right.
Most of the time, it's just an ego thing, man.
Yeah.
Because we're always just trying to prove ourselves that we're right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. And ego is the ultimate enemy. So it's like just knowing it's important to raise concerns, like raise your voice your concerns in a constructive way.
Yeah.
Not in this like overly aggressive or passive aggressive. Because I think a very common way is passive aggressiveness.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Where we don't want to upset, obviously our friends or our partners or stuff like that. So we say things in a way, but it really comes out kind of like negative.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes that rubs the wrong way, even worse, versus just saying straight up, like, what the fuck, man? Like, why are you putting your clothes on the floor? There's a basket. Yeah. Can you put in the basket, please?
Yeah.
And then I would go, oh yeah, my bad. Right. And this is a lesson where we try to teach our kids, because when you have kids now,
oh yeah,
it's even more important to set like the stage and be excellent role models.
Yeah.
In like how you believe your relationship should be.
Yeah.
So if we're arguing all the time and trying to prove our points, what do you think the kids are going to do?
Argue.
Always argue.
Yeah.
Right. And I've seen that with different people in my life, where you have pets, even pets, it gets down to the pets. Like the demeanor of a pet is a reflection of the owner.
Like they're always barking or something?
Dogs are always barking. And then you wonder, why are these dogs so fucking angry all the time? Well, it's because the parents are always arguing. And that was the truth. That was the case.
They're here, they're shouting or whatever. Yeah.
So, but yeah, like whether it's like being married or like in a relationship or business.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to be right or you want to be married? It's easy. The last one, number one, top one, I think, is probably the most important lesson that we've learned. And it started from day one.
Mm-hmm.
Which was?
Choosing a partner is probably, or is the most important decision in your life.
Yeah, choosing a partner is the most important financial decision in your life.
It's everything.
Yeah.
It's not just finance, right? I'm assuming you're going to want to have kids. They're going to become your, whether it's a father or mother of your child, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a huge thing. Finance is another huge thing. But just in general, even if you don't have kids, like just where you want to go in life, right? Your goals and your aspirations, all those things, right? Like that person's ultimately going to be there either to support you or to not.
Yeah.
Right?
It's kind of binary here, right?
Well, yeah. So that's why it's probably the most important decision.
When you look back to it, it's like, what's the number one reasons for divorce?
It's
not
finance.
Yeah, it's financial reasons, right? So yeah. And we've talked about this in one of our really, really early episodes. It's just like, it's not because it's you don't have enough money, that obviously contributes to it. It's about you're misaligned on your financial goals, or you're not communicating about the finances.
Mm-hmm.
You're not on the same page.
Yep.
Right. So if on one of these trips that we went on together earlier on, and I realized that, oh, other than this weird habit she has in the washroom or whatever, or she snores.
I don't snore.
No, she doesn't. I was joking with Jen. I was like, if you snored, that's probably a deal maker. That's a deal breaker right there. I don't know. I'm sorry. Because I'm a light sleeper, so it's like, oh god, can't do that. Can't stand this. But yeah, and like, if you were like going out and just buying everything, like complete disregard for a budget, or just like your
mm-hmm.
your spending habits,
mm-hmm.
like you were a very loose spender,
mm-hmm.
that could have been a killer.
Yeah.
Right. Because then it's like, oh shit, like, well, she's not aligned with, like,
well, how you spend, right?
How my frugalness at the time. But that's important, right? Like I said, like, maybe you are a loose spender, but your other partner may have the same opposite, right?
So you're saying you're glad that I'm cheap like you?
Oh yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Oh, come on, man. It's in the blood.
It is.
It's in the culture. It's in the culture.
In
it's in the culture, man. Russell Peters says it right. We are in line with the Jews and Indians for being the cheapest.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it is ultimately, like you were mentioning, right? Choosing the right partner is the most important decision that you'll ever make. And it's hard for us to kind of, tell you exactly how to choose. That's for you to decide. Right. But so after, when we were talking about this, being married for 10 years, and we came with this list, these are kind of the conversations we have after being married, but obviously starting this podcast now, right?
Yeah.
And it's helped us, I think, to this point. I mean,
it's always good to reflect, right?
Yeah. And here's the thing. It's like, we're not saying this like we are some special couple or anything.
Who knows? We might get divorced in 5 years.
That's okay. Because I probably will come out on top of that. 50-50, right? Remember?
Oh, true. Damn it.
Well, yeah. So
that was 5.
That was 5. Yeah. We were thinking of some wild cards here, and Jen interrupted me, and I couldn't think of the wild card now because I didn't write it down. So I've been thinking so hard.
Lesson learned, right?
Lesson learned.
Write it down.
Write it down. But yeah. No. Hopefully you had a bit of a laugh from our top 5 lessons of being married for 10 years, and it's been a real fun ride. I'm not saying that we've done it all right, because we haven't.
Nope.
And there's other people that we look up to that have amazing marriages, that we feel that have it all figured out.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's one of those, like, it's one of those couples to really aspire to.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is really like your journey is going to be unique to anyone else's. The whole idea about this is about like, they say in business never compromise,
Mm-hmm.
but really,
You kind of
it all
have
is about
to.
kind of compromise.
Yeah. You're
Right?
kind of figuring it out together, right?
Yeah, because that's the thing where we realize like if you have two competing personalities
Mm-hmm.
and you're always butting heads,
Yeah.
like who's gonna be?
Someone has to.
Something's got to be.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna give.
Someone has to give.
And if you got two egos or two competing, like you got, you know, a rock in a hard place, what's gonna give first?
Yeah.
And who's gonna do that? Like you can't have two presidents.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, like at the end of the day, it's just working it out, speaking, and arguing. This is the number one thing too. It's like
yes.
you have to like having a good fight is important.
Just not all the time.
Not all the time.
Yeah.
But it's
Once
like
in a
one of
while.
those where like even the kids, when we had that one fight during lockdown,
Oh yeah.
right?
Kids still remember it.
Kids remember like, hey guy,
Remember
mommy,
that
daddy,
time?
remember that time you were yelling at each other and Baba, you threw something? I didn't throw it at Jen. I threw something across the house. It's like, yeah.
I'm scared.
I'm scared. I'm like, oh, yeah, sorry, kiddo. Those happen. And it should. Like those kind of fights should. Obviously not in front of your kids, but
yeah.
that's how you
that means you are expressing your opinion.
Yeah.
Which is important.
It is.
The worst thing you can do is not really.
Yeah, and hide everything.
To your partner who is supposed to pretty much know.
Yeah.
Like what you're thinking and how you feel.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I figured out. I remember the wild card.
Oh, there we go.
This is not a lesson, but it's kind of a reality. Okay.
Okay.
When you get married first, right? Everything is still sexy. Okay. The definition of sexy changes. All right. Jen is still sexy in my eyes. It's just what happens sometimes. You're like, you know what? I'm okay with it now. All right. Stuff happens. And you walk in on your partner using the washroom every once in a while. And you shouldn't have walked in.
Yep.
It happens. So just accept that reality.
Yep. And vice versa.
Yes, I know. Oh, anyways. Yeah, everyone, hey, listen, part of this is to share our journey, right? Is to share our conversations because, as we kind of go through our own little journeys, we hope to share our experiences with you so that you can have those conversations with yourself. Because maybe you're going to get to that point. Maybe you will never will. I don't know. But the whole idea is that you can think about it and it raises questions about like, how you think about things.
Yeah.
And if it was something you connect with, like, yo, this is exactly the whole point, right?
Yeah.
So, it wrapped around finances somehow, ultimately, at the end of the day. But really, it's stuff that's really important to you to live your everyday rich. So,
and we're just documenting ours.
That's it. So, help us share it, like it, so that other people can hear these living room conversations and have them with their own in their own living rooms. Spread the message, man.
For sure.
Help a 10-year marriage couple out, okay? I want to hear some of your funny stories too one day. So
maybe we'll record a 15 and a 20 year.
Sure. How about 11-year?
Sure. If there's anything more that comes up in 1 year.
Yeah. Can only come up with 5. Jesus. 11 will be like 5.5.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay. Thanks everyone. Appreciate it. All right.
See ya.
Peace.
Your Everyday Rich podcast is presented solely for general informational, educational, and entertainment purposes. Any such information or other material should not be construed as legal, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. It is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a qualified professional.